This brings us to Representative Camille Bud George. He is the Democratic Chairman of the House Environmental Resources and Energy Committee. He's fought for more than 2 decades for stronger safeguards over landfills and out-of-state trash. Representative George has fought for many years to give more local control over landfill development. He's been involved in landfill issues not only here in Clearfield and Center County regions, but across the Commonwealth. It was Representative George who first alerted the public that the Boggs Township supervisors had indeed signed off on a host community agreement with PA Waste to build a landfill without the knowledge of their constituency. So here to lay out the ramifications and the processes that are involved in landfill development, please put your hands together and welcome Representative Camille George. Sir, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
I had some prepared words, but maybe it'd be most appropriate if I would just take it off the cuff, so to speak. Now, I know there might be some who won't agree with what I'm going to say, and I accept that. I accept that we can disagree without being disagreeable. Now, as you look at these 2 legislators and any other civic leader or responsible individual, I think from time to time we hear somebody making statements. And the gentleman that preceded me has covered this matter pretty well in regard to there's basically more waste coming into Pittsburgh.
Jeez, Bud, you're
That must be a Republican microphone.
I think it should be okay.
Now, I'm going to speak specifically about bogs, but my interest doesn't waver in regard to Chest or Rush. And that I believe that Clearfield County or any other county has a long way to go before we assert and can state what we want to do to benefit the people. All things we want, we can't provide, and all things we don't want, we sometimes can't stop. What I don't like about what I'm hearing is I heard a commissioner somewhere say, you know, the House and the Senate could stop this. Well, the House and the Senate can't stop interstate commerce. Now, that individual knows anything about the law, he knows that. And he also said Bud George is the one that allowed this to come in. Well, the Senate bill on that bill that allowed solid waste was the Senate bill. And I don't think Dan and I ever have the privilege or the honor or the disrespect of putting out a bill like that. First, I'm going to say to you that the harms and benefits was upheld by the courts. Upheld by the courts. So let me say something about bogs. Just the day before yesterday, I heard somebody from the department say, we're going to take care of those bust-outs and bogs. For those of you that don't understand, there are 2 on Kaufman and 2 on North Kaufman that the operator who operated didn't take care of. So if they would say to you, okay, that's all right.
Get rid of that pop.
That's all right. Thank you very much. If they say to you, you know, well, there's benefit. There is no benefit to that landfill with the exception that it would benefit the individual that owns the land, and it'll benefit the individuals that are going to bring the waste in. And the 4 or 5 jobs that it might promote are not going to do anything to change to the economy, not only in bogs, but anywhere else. And the truck traffic that we're going to have to live with coming off of 80 past the busiest part of the area and down to 879 and 153 is going to be terrifying. And let's talk about what we should be doing. Those that are 21 years of age and exercised their responsibility to vote yesterday know that that's the only way that you can set these things straight. It's our right and it's our obligation to allow those who serve us in positions know just what you want and what you don't want. Now, as far as harms and benefit, I'm hoping that just in a month or two we'll find that we're going to benefit, and that Dan and I are working to get the power plant in Shawsville that will produce 295 megawatts and will burn 2 million tons of waste coal a year and will employ 150 people, and there won't be $7 an hour jobs. You understand? You know what makes me laugh? It makes me laugh about even legislators saying we voted for $7 an hour. You know, we have a poor guy driving from Housedale to State College, which is 30 mile, and coming back at 60 mile. And if he makes $7 an hour, that's $56. And if he buys 5 gallons of gas, that's $15. So the guy's only really making $44 for 8 hours work, which is $5.18 an hour. I don't understand what we're doing when we allow these people to get into our heads and try to convince us that what they're doing for us is going to help us. It isn't going to help those that live near the area. It's not going to help anyone who is responsible or has to put up with the traffic. It's not going to help anyone whose water becomes deteriorated. And nobody can say that these 2 legislators are champions of water, because what water is coming down there, I think I helped to bring in. And, you know, they can talk. I think somebody mentioned the governor who, you know, I don't know what happened, but I know what happened in the last administration. And I know what happened in the last 6 administrations, because I was there. And I can tell you, the garbage doesn't make anybody well-to-do but the individuals that bring it in and the individual that sells the land. Now, why is it that if you did something, for example, the other day a guy called me and he said, I have 200 tires on my property up in Chest Township, and the DEP said you've got 10 days to get it out of there. Would you believe that it cost exactly $84 a ton for waste tires? And I said, I don't know what you guys are doing to this guy. Those tires have been there for 16 years when the coal operator owned that place. They're here tires. So if you got $7 million worth of bond, use that money to take those tires out. Now, you know, the truth of the matter is that we're making a lot of noise, but we're not going in the right direction. The Township Supervisors Association voted down local control, and we can prove every word. And the town and the association, a commissioner, sent a letter that they wouldn't accept local control. So what we have is zoning. And it only works if those people that are in charge of those areas that were voted in to support you and to do what they think is the best for you. It can only be done by them standing tall and not trying to tell anybody that all good is going to come from these landfills, because they're not. And they take advantage because they know that the small community has little money. Half of them don't even have enough money to take care of the roads, much less take care of what's happening. So let's go on from this and say to you, only by you standing together, and only by we holding fast and insisting that the harms will be greater than the benefit, and that we don't want to import waste from New Jersey and New York. If it's that good, let them keep it back there. Let's quit letting these people place things in the media that confuse the issues, so to speak. Because that is that this young fella has done a great thing. And that for the first time I can see 100 or so people, regardless of what position you have, that were willing to listen and understand that this problem isn't just the people in Chet, or the people in Rush, or the people in Bog. This problem is our problem. This problem is our problem. Today in America, listen while I tell you this. That operator out there, I wish you'd look into the facts. That the money remediated and brought forward for all the damage that was done was $4 million less than what was needed. And yet we're going out there and do more harm. We're going out there and we're going to see that those people possibly can wake up in the morning and not have water. We're going to live there long enough to realize that BFI across the street, that a progress reporter and I saw on 2 different accounts, hospital waste all across as far as our eyes could see. And I'm not a troublemonger, but I'm telling you that it's fair to insist that there is low volume waste, radiation waste from x-ray rooms and toxicology units out there in that area. Now, if they think it's so good, let them keep it where it came from. Now, it's the same thing as people in this area about sludge. Isn't it funny? New York doesn't allow sludge on the ground. New Jersey doesn't allow sludge on the ground. The EPA are the only ones that don't give a damn, and they let Pennsylvania, where we should have sole control what is coming into our area. So let me say this to you. Dan and I don't need another problem, but we understand it's our problem. And we don't want these people that want to protect their positions themselves to make up stories about whose fault it is. It's our fault. It's the people of Pennsylvania, and we've got to stand fast. I have continually, because I'm the chairman, dozens and dozens of letters throughout the year from areas that already have a landfill saying, what can you do? Let me tell you something about this landfill. It differs no more than any other. After 20 years of dumping and 20 years of sitting there, their grandchildren's grandchildren will wake up one morning and see the results of what we allowed them to do. And the fact remains is, while those people and their descendants have made all those millions of dollars, or someplace else living in the grandeur and splendor, our kids are going to be bothered with an environment that isn't safe to smell, it isn't safe to breathe, and the water isn't safe to drink. Now, I'm going to tell you this. It'll be much easier for those of us in the rural area, where the registration goes both ways, for us to fall in line with these people with all the money and all the power. But I think we just went through an election, and you see what they said. You know what? That election was so lousy that I saw a couple of advertisements my opponent put in, and I was ashamed of myself. I thought, if I'm half that goddamn bad, I don't know what's going on. You know, I thought I was a hell of a nice-looking guy. Sitting next to him, that's why I get him pumped. But I want you to understand, we have a job to do. We don't need to bring in any more problems. We need to uplift our environment. I'm not a doctor. I have a brother that's a doctor and a nephew. In fact, his name's Camille. He makes more than my $70,000. In fact, if you don't have 100, you can't get in his office. But you know what? We come from the working class, and it seems to be more often that they want to pick on us and they want to divide us. And this is one of those divides and conquer. I'm saying to you, so let's stick together on this one. Let's listen to what the other side has to say. Let them show us where it's going to benefit. Let them show us that what they put in the ground will be there for eternal and not cause any trouble. Let them tell us that there won't be accidents. Let them tell us that the evaluation of our property will stay where it is. Let them tell us where everything is great and there's a benefit. And I say to them, the only person it will benefit will be them, not us. And I don't think that we ought to stand still and let 5 or 6 benefit while a few thousand of us have to suffer for it. Stick with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.